Hello everyone, it's Gaming with Captain Gravy, and today we're going to be fishing in the Lone Star Lake to determine the best lure for spotted bass. As you can see here, this is their preferred lures, and I have the casting spoon, worm, and the bass jig. Out of those three, we're going to be determining which is the most successful and most popular with the spotted bass. It's a sunny day, so we're going to be starting our fishing trip at 1 p.m. And we are going to start with the Jig Head Worm. Just go to Swampy Exploration. Right about here. We'll fast forward time to 1 p.m. and get the Jig Head 1/3 ounce 100 hook. And with the worm 2-inch. So we're just going to cast this out here, and we'll give each lure 4 casts to find its final score of how many spotted bass it can get in those 4 times. So the best retrieve I found that works for this is just stop and go. That was cast number 1 with the worm. Here goes cast number 2. Ooh, almost got something there. So we'll just wait on the bottom for a little bit. Ooh, there we go. Almost had it. So we'll just keep it slow. And it looks like cast number 2 was so close to being successful. 2 really huge snags on a fish. So close to being a successful strike, but you don't catch all of them. So we're just going to sort of jig along the bottom, use stop and go. There we go, first fish with the worm. We're just going to increase our drag a bit. Get this guy in here. There we go. Cast number 3 reveals a spotted bass. Here we go with cast number 4 for the final score of how many fish this worm caught in 4 casts. See, up and down. Stop and go. Ooh, there we go. Another one right here. It's giving us pretty high line tension, maybe a big one. 1.6 spotted bass. So, of all 4 casts using the worm, its final score is 2. We'll now move on to the mini bass jig. This thing I found to not be as successful as the worm and the casting spoon. You just kind of gotta find the right style for it. We're going to be using the lift and drop technique along with the jig pattern. They have changed the lift and drop technique as of recent updates. The new lift and drop technique is crank and yank for me. Ooh, and we got one. There we go, snagged one. Get him over here. They seem to really like the lift and drop technique. There we go, spotted bass. Cast number 1. Maybe the bass jig will prove me wrong today. Maybe it is useful after all. So we're going to do crank, yank, crank, yank, crank, yank, crank, and yank. You get the idea. Lift and drop. Going to be doing a more jig-like pattern. And nothing's going to be biting this close in. So that was cast number 2. We're on to cast number 3. Ooh, got one. There we go. This is going to be Bass Jig's, the second fish for Bass Jig. There we go. Fish number 2 for Bass Jig. And he's a 1.4 pounder spotted bass. So, we're on the final cast of the mini Bass Jig. And if you do the crank and yank too much or lift and drop, you will get the twitching, which I haven't had any success with it. I've never tried it that much either, but the mini Bass Jig's final score is 2. We're now going to switch over to the casting spoon 1/6 ounce number 2. I found that this thing is probably in general more successful than its 1/3 ounce counterpart, especially for these spotted bass. That's not true for all fish, but especially for these spotted bass. The retrieves on these guys, you're just straight and slow. That's what works best with these things. Straight, slow retrieves. Just got impaled by someone's fishing pole there. So straight, slow retrieves. Had a little bit of tension there from a fish, but nothing too incredible. Cast number 1. Now we're on a cast number 2. Just doing a straight retrieve. straight slow. We haven't got anything yet. And cast it out there. And let's do the slow straight retrieve. Straight, slow, straight, whatever. I mean, it all really works the same. And I found this slow straight retrieves and straight retrieves work the best. There we go. First spotted bass for the casting spoon. And this is the last cast of the casting spoon. Oh, got a snag. Not a fish snag, though. Unfortunately. Just straight slow. And there we have it. The final score for the casting spoon is 1-6, is actually just one bass. And we can conclude from this video that you guys can draw your own conclusions from this. It really actually, as long as you get the preferred baits, it's really up to you if you use the correct one, the correct retrieve methods. That's probably going to determine how successful you are. But in the tutorial for this game, this casting spoon I'm using, this exact one, is the one they recommend. Casting right out here, there's a large hole right in here somewhere where the spotted bass tend to hang out, and they recommend using this casting spoon. But you can just as easily as do it with the casting spoon, this thing, the worms, and the mini bass jig. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video, even dislike it, tell me what you didn't like, and tell me what you want to see next. Alright guys, this is Gaming with Captain Gravy. See you later.